I'm here with Chris Hines from Arrowlane Motorsports in Scottsdale, Arizona. Chris, in talking to you a little earlier, you got an incredible background. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've done in motorsports?
Well, I'll tell you, we've had a lot of fun in the last 20 some odd years, but all joking aside, we started racing ASA trucks in 1999, I guess, and we raced through 2000, 2001, and then we drove some really neat races over in Irwindale on the West Coast, and then we started driving in what was used to be called the NASCAR Southwest Series, and we drove there till about 2004. Our shop's been in business about, I guess we've been in business about 12 years, racing cars and doing all kinds of fun stuff like that, and started vintage racing, I guess in about 06. Got a 1965 Corvette and we raced in SVRA and just had a blast. So that's kind of where I started, and prior to all that, of course, dirt cars, sprint cars and all that nonsense, but we'll talk about pavement today. So
now you're running a race shop. How did you make that transition?
Well, it's pretty simple. We had 0 customers. I had a great lady named Edie Errol-Smith. She's Group 8 champion in SVRA in 08, and she still drives a little light blue 914 GT. She's pretty close to the front this weekend. Anyway, we did that for a while, and then in 2004 at Phoenix International Raceway, I got my neck broke in a turn 4 accident. So broke several vertebrae in my neck, and when that happened, we decided we'd maybe go in business. So we got a couple customers. We turned 2 customers into 3 customers into 10 customers into 12. Take care of about 42 cars now, all vintage on the West Coast primarily, but we do a lot of central races, back east in the SVRA. So that's how it all started. And now here we are. We're working on cars. We've got 2 semis that we travel all over the country with, and we take care of usually about 6 to 12 cars a weekend.
Really? How many cars do you have here this weekend, Chris?
We brought 7 cars this weekend. We brought a couple of HTA cars, Historic Trans Am Group. We've got a couple of Group 8 cars. We got a Group 6 car. We've got a Group 10 car, Trans Am car, and that's what we brought this weekend.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about this car, because you told me an interesting story about this car. Now, it looks like a Ford, but I understand it isn't really a Ford. It wasn't at one point a Ford. Can you tell me a little bit about this car?
Okay, so I might get corrected on this, but I'll give you the information I know. This car was built in, we don't know for sure, but 89 or 90. It was built by Arrowlane Motorsports. It's a Rocket Sports chassis. It was born in Oldsmobile Cutlass. It was raced in 1991 by Irv Air. And in 92, it was raced in IMSA and won the championship with Irv Air and Darren Brasfield. And it was an Oldsmobile. It was the Olivetti-sponsored Oldsmobile Cutlass. And it's funny how this whole story started. The guy that drives it, Gordon Johnson, traded the car for a McDonald's stock car, and they put it together in a few weeks, and here he is.
Can we ask Gordon to come in here and talk to us a little bit about it? Come on in, Gordon.
Oh, geez, I got started racing back in 89 through about 99, driving Formula Fords and Atlantics, and I owned a couple of cars and raced them on and off for about 10 years. Got into, pretty heavily in business, was traveling and was missing a lot of races, so I got out of it for a while. And about 4 or 5 years ago, I popped into Chris's shop, and he had a Datsun 240Z, I believe it was. And he said, hey, come on down to a local track and give it a run and have some fun and see what you think. And maybe you still enjoy it. So I did have a great time, and next thing you know, I ended up with a stock car at a nationwide car I bought, raced in SVRA for a couple, 2 or 3 years. Got a Can-Am car, got another Trans Am car, sold those, and just ended up with this thing here about 3 or 4 months ago. So anyway, we're having a great time and learning. The car is so much more capable than I am at this point. But I'm learning, I guess, with great people that are teaching me how to drive it better and faster.
Terrific. Now, I understand you're going to turn this back into an Oldsmobile. That's what Chris was telling me.
We'd love to go and put it back to the Olivetti livery and put the body back on it, and I think it'd just be a nice tribute to the guys that drove before. So that's our plan.
And I know you just finished your race. How did you enjoy racing at Circuit of the Americas this weekend?
This is unbelievable track, and we've had some really fun tracks we've raced at with SVRA and others, but this is an incredible track, very technical in some areas. These cars are a little hard to drive in some areas, but you got those nice open straightaways, you can get some good speed out of them, and I mean, look at the facility, it's just magnificent, and we're lucky we didn't get rained out today, so we're happy you had a good session and worked great. So.